Hello everyone. Today we will learn the operation technology of plate butt welding in the overhead position with one side welding both sides formation. Through this class, we should achieve the following teaching objectives. Able to master operating essentials of the welding position. Able to develop assembly welding scheme. Able to select the welding parameter. Able to weld qualified welds according to the requirements of welding safety, cleanliness, environment, and welding process. Able to inspect the appearance of welds. Let's analyze the construction drawings. From the construction drawings, we can see the pieces consist of two Q235 steel plates, which size is 12 times 300 times 100 millimeters delta. The weld root gap is 3.2 to 4 millimeters. The root face is 0.5 to 1 millimeter. The groove angle is 60 degrees. Let's analyze the work tasks. Plate butt welding in the overhead position with one side welding both sides formation is one of the most difficult welding to master. In the process of welding, the molten pool is overhung under the welding part, and the molten droplet and the molten pool metal are easy to drape under the action of gravity, which is easy to produce defects such as pits on the back and weld tumors on the front. Because the base material thickness is 12 millimeters, there are 4 weld layers needed. 1 backing weld layer, 2 filling weld layers, and 1 covering weld layer. The specimen's materials is Q235A. The E5015 electrode with better process performance is selected, which diameter is 3.2 millimeters. The power polarity of the bottom welding is DCSP. The filling and the covering welding is DCRP. In order to weld qualified welds, a reasonable welding process must be developed. Next, we will learn the specific operation processes and welding methods through welding operation, fabrication, backing, filling, covering, and inspection. Therefore, before the welding operation, we must make full preparation. Firstly, perform security check. Ensure labor protection equipment is properly warm and in good condition. Clean up the work site and make sure there are no inflammable and explosive articles. Secondly, prepare welding machine. Check whether welding machine cable, welding bar wire, welding clamp are properly connected and then debug them. Thirdly, prepare auxiliary tools. Prepare tools such as grinders, slag hammers, chisels, files, wire brushes, straight steel rulers, vernier calipers, and weld inspection rulers. Fourthly, prepare specimens. Check the size of the specimens according to the drawing. Polish the specimen bevel to ensure that there is no water, oil, rust, and other impurities within 20 millimeters of the bevel and each side. Expose the metallic luster. Lastly, prepare welding materials. Prepare E5015 electrodes with diameters of 3.2 millimeters and 4 millimeters respectively. Next, assemble the specimens. Firstly, groove specimens. Put the specimens with finished groove on the assembly platform to check the flatness of the specimens and the matching of the groove. Then, adjust welding current to 110 to 120A. Finally, precision welding. Determine the beginning gap is 3.2 millimeters with phi 3.2 electrode core diameter. Determine the terminal clearance is 4 millimeters with phi 4.0 electrode core diameter. The fixed weld length is 10 to 15 millimeters. Arc extinguishing method is adopted to point and fix from the inside of the groove, and the staggered edge quantity is controlled within 1 millimeter. The reserved inverse deformation angle alpha is 3 to 5 degrees. Now let's learn how to weld the bottom layer. Adjust welding current to 110 to 120A. The assembled specimens are placed horizontally on the tooling with the back facing up. The end with small gap is at the far end and the welding starts at the far end. Arc extinguish method or continuous arc method can be used for the welding of the bottom layer. We take the arc extinguish method as an example to explain. The included angle between electrode and welding direction is 70 to 80 degrees. Meanwhile, the electrode shall be perpendicular to the specimen on both sides. Strictly using short arc extinguishing frequency is 25 to 30 times per minute. When welding, electrode is on top, so that 2/3 of the arc is burned on the back of the weld, and the new molten pool should cover half of the previous molten pool, or even more, to ensure that the back of the weld is full and not concave. After backing welding, clean up the weld with a steel wire brush and ballast hammer. This is the specimen after backing welding. Okay, next we will learn about welding of filler layers. The first thing is to adjust the welding current to 115 to 125A. The included angle between electrode and welding direction is 60 to 70 degrees. Meanwhile, the electrode shall be perpendicular to the specimen on both sides. Crescent or zigzag stripe transportation is adopted. The welding rod swings to both sides and pauses slightly. The middle of the stripe moves faster and the middle of the weld is slightly concave. Pay attention to distinguish the molten pool and slag. Control the shape, size, and temperature of the molten pool to prevent welding tumors. The welding seam of the filling layer should be 1 to 1.5 millimeters lower than the surface of the base metal, leaving a certain allowance for the welding of the cover layer. After the filling welding, clean up the weld with a steel wire brush and a ballast hammer. This is the specimen after filling welding. Next, we carry out the last step of welding operation, the cover layer welding. Firstly, adjust the welding current to 105 to 115A. Welding rod angle, stripe, and joint method of the covering weld are the same as the filling layer, using crescent shape or zigzag stripe. Using short arc welding, it can be noted that the swing of the amplitude and spacing should be consistent. The arc is slightly paused at the edge of the groove for the excellent fusion to prevent the defects such as edge biting, incomplete fusion, and welding tumors. Ensure that the appearance of the weld is neat and well formed. After covering welding, clean up the weld with a steel wire brush and a ballast hammer, but cannot destroy the original surface of the weld. This is the specimen after covering welding. After practice, we should organize tools and equipment, turn off the power, clean up the worksite, and write welding records. Pay attention to the two key points of butt overhead welding of plate as follows. Firstly, pay attention to welding position. Fixed position of test board to ensure operation space. People are positioned for easy operation and good slide lines. Secondly, pay attention to the triple stability. Make your center of gravity and breathing stable. Grasp the hand grip with two hands to make hands stable. Thirdly, pay attention to the eye precision, accurate position for each spot welding. Finally, make sure the inverted welding button as top as possible. Keep half to 2/3 of the arc burning on the back, while the new pool to cover the previous pool half or more. At last, inspect appearance. According to the scoring standard, the self-inspection, mutual inspection, and special inspection shall be carried out one by one to the height of the front and the back welds, height difference, width difference, undercut, staggered edge amount, deformation, mechanical damage or arc abrasion, failure to fuse, surface slag inclusion, surface porosity, cracks, and so on. Through the above learning, I believe that you have a basic understanding of the operation project. If you want to weld high-quality welds, you must be diligent in practice and keep exploring, thinking, and summarizing during practice. That's all for today. Thank you.